Hello everyone, Loremaster Sotek here, back with another episode of the Nakai the Wanderer campaign. Hope you're doing well. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, looks like we're at the end of a turn here. Right, we were smashing our heads against the Savage Orc Tribes a fair bit. Trying to get them under control. Or wipe them out, better yet. Hope you're all doing well. Man, I'll tell you what, yesterday was a long day. I ended up staying up pretty late that night because I was working on... Okay. I was working on getting a, Oh, we have the Rite of Rebirth. Let's go ahead and do this. So what that does is, yeah, you can see here, that spawns a 20 stack that counts as an ally to defend the capital of our vassal, which we want to probably do that when we can because that's going to make them appear much more powerful. So people aren't going to mess with them, hopefully. Alright, so we get Renowned and Feared. And then let's go ahead and start working on... Let's get Inspiring Presence, and then we're going to start working on our melee tree. To make Nakai as dangerous as possible. Okay, so... We know there's an Orc army at Spectazuma and at the Temple of Kara. Ooh, spooky. So I think I'm going to position myself a little bit over here. And let's do what we can to just heal up as quick as we can. And I think for the moment what we want to do is... I guess we want to save our money for now, but I kind of want to use the Scarvet to harass this guy. Because if we can... you know, be chewing away at his army. That way, if we do end up going to the Temple of Kara to fight him, it's not going to be, you know, just us getting our butt kicked. Oh, anyway, I was talking about my day. So, yeah, I stayed up super late last night because, you know, I recorded and uploaded the whole first episode. And then I did some stuff like... I had a session I needed to do. Oh god, he moves without me. Oh gosh, that is kind of a bummer. I would really prefer he didn't move, but it looks like I'm not going to be able to stop him. Alright, so we're just going to have to fight these clowns. I mean, they're coming in on me, whether I like it or not. But I don't want to attack them without the city to aid me. So I'm going to move in front of the city, and the reason I'm going to, or like next to it, like here, and that's so we can kind of help defend it. Also, I want to get my Scarvet into my army. Let's do this, and he'll come join me. Because he'll be super duper useful for like hunting down particular groups. Alright, but we're in range of Plunksla, and we're going to... pop an encampment stance, and we will let them come at us. Come at me, bro. I keep not finishing. Anyway, long story short, I had a really long day yesterday, recorded a bunch of stuff, then we did the tournament, which I managed to make it through, and then I stayed up even later because I was supposed to have a D&D session yesterday, but, oh, I see what he did. Ooh, that was kind of rude. So what he did was he attacked my base and then he attacked my base to put it under siege and then attacked me with a different army so that I wouldn't get them as reinforcements. So let's actually fall back because I would rather him destroy the base and then me hit the leftovers. Okay, he's actually falling back. That was surprisingly clever of the AI. see if we can lure him into a trap. Real quick. So I'm in range. So now we're going to ambush. And see if he'll try and attack the city while I'm protecting it. But anyway, I did the tournament. And then I was supposed to stay up for a D&D session that night at like 7. Which I managed to stay awake until 7 for our session. But unfortunately, one of the players like totally forgot that we had backed it up a day. I won't name names. And so he was like super late. And it seemed like we were either going to cancel or it was going to take like an extra hour or something. And I was just sitting in my chair waiting and I ended up like falling asleep. Aw, dang it. Okay, so we lost our hero for a few turns, but he did gain a bunch of experience. So, like, it's not a terrible thing, but it's not great either. Can I attack these guys with support? God, they're just out of range. And I don't want to, like... See if I can, like, move up. And tell him to fight alongside me. We'll just ambush stance. Because the trick is that the blue vipers go before the defenders of the old one, so we want to try and encourage the defenders to lead the charge, so that the two of us can fight side by side. Because if the blue vipers get to move first, they can cut off my reinforcements and attack me. So, like, see, the ambush foiled. So that's exactly what happened again, is they attacked the base, waited until I moved away, or, yeah. So that's going to happen. We're basically stuck in a loop. And because they're hiding... Oh, no, he went out and fought. Question is, did he hurt them? Oh, yeah, he hurt them bad. Okay, so now we're going to attack. We're gonna go in on them with everything we got now. Let's get the cheapest wind blast. Man, we ran like really fucking far away. Okay, now we're going after these clowns. They're wounded enough that we can get them. So our allies got wiped out, but they did exactly what I needed them to, which was to bring the greenskins down to my level. So right now, what they're probably going to do is they're probably going to, knowing the AI, they'll probably split. Some of them will go to the Temple of Kara, and some of them will retreat back to Spectazuma. Yeah. So we're going to go after the ones that went to Temple of Kara, because it's a smaller garrison. Sure. I'll take that extra Winds of Magic for this. Okay, they don't have a super garrison. That's good. That means we don't have to deal with, like, a massive reinforcement force. But unfortunately, they ran further away than I really would have liked. Because moving through Lustria is always a colossal pain in the ass. So we're going to move our full movement after them. And then we will pop this stance so that I can do this. Because I want Sacred Croc scores. And if we can afford it, we need one more troop. Okay, we can. So let's pick up another Croc score unit. That'll work. But starting next turn, we'll be able to start getting lots of Sacred Croc scores, which is awesome. You know, if we could get like 3 or 4 of them, that would help out immensely. Because Sacred Croc scores are just a super powerful unit, especially against Savage Orcs. Makes that physical resistance go away, so they have 0 defense. Alright, he's coming out to fight. So he doesn't have the garrison, so this is as fair a fight as he's going to give us. Which is fine by me. So let's do this. Yeah, so a little bummed that... I can't tell if they did the session anyway while I was asleep in my chair, or if they rescheduled it, because maybe it took them a while to get started. I didn't see any dice rolls or messages on Roll20, so I think they ended up not doing a session. Wow, they started... Oh, sorry, they weren't ready for another 2 hours. Yeah, no, there was no way I was going to be able to stay awake for that. That was just way too late of a start time. I know some people can do that, but I can't. Like, if I can, my thing is that I can stay awake for about 12 hours for, like, any part of the day, but once you cross that 12-hour line, I'm out. And I will be out. And the longer I stay up, the longer I sleep, which can be really unfortunate sometimes. So, like, if I have a normal day, where, you know, the average human being is supposed to be, like, well, not supposed to, but you, like, on average, you want to try and be, like, 15 hours awake, followed by, you know, like, 9 hours of sleep, right? Which, I could do that if I wake up at, like, 7 a.m., and then go to bed, you know, at 10 p.m. Something like that. But I have to strictly adhere to that system to only sleep for 9 hours, because I have the opposite of a problem that a lot of people have, which is, you know, irregular sleep cycles. But where most people struggle with sleep cycles because, you know, they can't sleep, I've always been the opposite. You know, I'm someone that has always struggled with sleeping way too much, because if I ever, you know, it's not a, you know, something I talk about fairly regularly on this channel is I struggle with mental health, which, you know, is not a shameful or concerning thing in my opinion to talk about. It's just part of life. You know, whenever my channel kind of goes on hiatus for a bit, you know, for a few days or a week, 99% of the time it's because something happens and I mess up my sleep schedule and I end up sleeping for, like, a really long period of time. I mean, that's always been my vice, I guess you could call it, like my weakness in life, is that I struggle not to sleep for ridiculous periods of time. Which sucks. Like, that is such a shitty thing to wake up realizing. Like, if you miss an event or something you wanted to do, or, like, you missed out on hanging out with friends or something, and the only reason it happened is because you were asleep. Like, it is the worst feeling. And it is a trap that I have fallen into many times in life. Okay, let's go ahead and send out the Croxigors while these guys are in the water, because they're in the water, so we'll get our aquatics benefit if we fight them there. Let's actually send these guys out to guard the flank. Alright, and let's start wind blasting. Skinks, let's let them have it. I think we're gonna save our magic exclusively for wind blasts. Alright, we're up against the war boss. Since we're fighting pretty intensely, we'll go ahead and pop our ward save. We're going to have the Skinks and the Croxigors pretty aggressively pursue here. Really take advantage of the environment. Let's send them over this way. Should it be in time for another wind blast? Yeah. Let's chew up this little flank here again. Just get rid of it. Skinks, once you're out of ammo, get in there. Alright. Nakai has beaten the war boss. He's just got to kind of finish him off. Let's send in our Sacred Croxigors against some of these more stubborn packs. Let's put these guys in melee mode. Pursue after fleeing units. Bring the Croxigors around this way. Tell Nakai to kill the war boss. Oh, there are piggies coming. Oh, they're big ones too. Yeah, we need to be careful of those. Let's throw down another wind blast down this line. Should be pretty much through dealing with these particular troops. Alright, let's bring in our Skink Priest on the action, because he will be able to use his aura to be a menace. And let's bring Nakai over to this kind of big fight. Actually, you know what? He's fine where he is. Oh, there's a general there, so let's finish him off. One group we'll send here. Next group we'll send to support these guys. He's in combat, so we can pop the Plaque of Dominion, which is going to probably break the leadership of most of these orcs. I'm going to hit myself with my own Wind Blast, because I'm a genius. It's okay, though. He's a character. He can take it. Swing them around this way. Go ahead and buff the Saurus a little bit. Nakai's doing great in his little fight over here. Let's bring these guys out into the water. Fight smarter, not harder. Oh, I lost track of my Skink Priest for a little bit. Let's rescue him with the old Sacred Crocs. See if we can get Nakai to kill off the war boss, who's only got 61 health left. He's on death's door. Okay, we've got them in the water, which means we have the combat advantage. So the Croc Score should be able to smash their way through that without little issue. Or with little issue, I should say. Send the Skinks to help with these guys. Send Nakai after the other general so we can break the Orc leadership. Because Orcs are kind of like, if you ever play multiplayer, Orcs are a lot like Beastmen in that they have traditionally really poor leadership. So if something happens to really mess with it, they, like the general like outright dies, then most of the time they're dealt with, essentially. Like, you don't have to worry about it. Fortunately, it seems like Goblin's a little too fast for us. That's okay, though. We're going to go back and deal with these Savage Orc Biggins. Let's support these Skinks here against the Savage Orc Arrow Boys with a nice Wind Blast. Which will do a fair amount of damage, and then all I have to do is run in here and pop Plaque of Dominion, and that'll break this unit. That'll toss them right over the edge. I'll charge in here just to make sure. Yep. And then we'll pop Harmonic Convergence on these Skinks, just be safe. I'm going to head off this way. Skinks are going to chase them down, make sure they don't rally. Let's send the Sacred Croc Scores to deal with this flank over here that's kind of weakened. Got Nakai in here. Make both of those units rampage, give them a nice physical resistance bonus. Send Skinks out to manipulate some more units. Savage Orcs are getting torn up. And the good news is this is the two largest Orc armies that are still alive. So if we win this fight, the Savage Orcs are pretty much wiped out. Like, we'll be able to wipe them out, which is awesome. Okay, these Skinks are losing, so let's go ahead and pop a Wind Blast. It'll get a little bit of friendly fire, but that's okay. We've got Saurus coming in to back him up. Don't just stand there. Come on. Stay away from him. Charge them in there. Charge y'all there. Okay, we broke that unit. Let's move on to the next one. Nakai's beating his way through these Savage Orc Boar Boys. Looks like we managed to chew through them, so let's head back over this way. This looks like the last notable pack of Orcs. So we've got some unengaged Saurus over here. These guys are chasing off fleeing units, so that's okay. Oh, we'll lead these guys into the Sacred Croc Scores. That'll be good. Send them in there. Okay, good. That unit's shattered, so let's send him after this stupid goblin. We'll use the Skink Chief or Skink Priest to chase off this guy. Okay, these guys are shattered. That's awesome. Let's come push all these guys off this flank here. Send these guys to break these dudes. Let's just pop a Harmonic Convergence on these Croc Scores, which will make their stat line really, really impressive. They should be able to deal with that. Nakai is smashing his way through these Savage Orc Archers. Or Savage Orc Arrow Boys, I should call them. Okay, that guy's shattered, which, with him shattered, That's the end of the greenskin leadership. So now we just got to make sure these units that have decent health are under pressure, and that'll cause army losses to trigger as the rest of their armies kind of collapse. And sure enough, there they go. So we'll just kind of do what we can to finish off what stragglers we can. Just because you want to, you know, try and do as much damage as you can. Are these orcs? No, they're just swords. Okay. So we'll just have Nakai kind of pursue these guys to the best of his ability. Let him kind of enrage himself. Unfortunately, it is the greenskin turn, so we actually do want to let this Night Goblin Warboss escape, because he has such low health that we'll basically be able to one-shot him. Because one thing you don't want to do in this game is if the enemy army has a general, you don't want to kill them if you're not able to wipe them out. You generally want to get them down to as low as you can without killing them if it's their turn. And the reason for that is the AI will get to pick a replacement general if it's their turn. So you won't be able to, you'll have to like kill a full health character, which is a lot harder than killing a low health character. So like Greebit's Bootlicka is dead, which is unfortunate because that means they're going to get to pick a replacement general. Whereas the Night Goblin Warboss is still alive, ornery here, so he has to kind of hang in there, because thankfully the AI isn't smart enough to like get rid of a wounded general and replace it with a healthy one. Now, if it's your turn, you can just go ahead and kill the general, because the AI cannot select a new character until let's do attack rather than defend. Cannot select a new character until it's their turn. So you can see now Varug's leading this army, but ornery is still very, very unhealthy. And we are in the perfect position to finish these clowns off. And we did get the bloody trait, which I think the bloody trait is actually one of my favorite lines. It's fairly hard to get because it basically requires you to fight battles that just have unholy levels of casualties. You know what? If we can, I'd actually rather attack ornery back here and force the other orcs to come to me as reinforcements. Because they will likely come in from kind of an awkward direction. Alternatively, we could just wipe this guy out so I don't have to waste my time with it. So let's do that. Because that may give me a level up. Awesome, it did. So we can get... Ooh, okay, we got all of our... Oh, great, all of our item quests are about to start. So let's grab... let's grab Reptilian Resilience and Predatory Fighter. And then we're going to swoop in here on the Temple of Kara and finish off the orcs. And then the only settlement they have left on the entire map will be Spectazuma, which of course is durable, but there's barely an orc army there. And we know the faction leader is dead because that's Greebit's Bootlicka, who has a goofy-ass name considering he's like he's the war boss. And for this, there's no water features, so we don't need to worry about trying to be strategic. The only thing I want to worry about is making sure our spear source are on the flanks so that they can help deal with the piggies. Same thing with our skinks. But these clowns will lead the charge, and we're just gonna slam into the orcs with everything we got. So we're just going to kind of commit all over into fighting. Try and focus our healthier Croxagors on, like, if we can find them, we want to focus our bigger troops on particularly dangerous packs like the Biggins. Alright, we're going to commit the skinks to going after the pigs. And then we're going to use our priests to just kind of carefully follow up and reinforce where we get a little thin. So like here we see tons and tons of pigs coming in, which is totally fine. These poisonous darts, the javelins, are actually very, very effective. So, like, we could throw a harmonic convergence on the swords with spears to give them a little better situation there. Okay, let's redirect our forces a bit here. Because those... Oh, okay, those pigs are broken. I didn't realize that. Okay. Let's fall these guys back a little bit. And now we're just going to look for kind of thick packs of greenskins. Pop a ward save there. Get a wind blast right on top of Nakai to give him a little breathing room. And we can also throw a wind blast down around him. Give him more breathing room. We just want to keep after the enemy general if we can. Okay, awesome. So we pretty much won this flank. The Croxagors are doing good over here. Looks like they're doing their best to stay out of that forest. So we're going to bring these skinks out here. Send our Croxagors in to support Nakai. He's looking a little low. But we can give him another wind blast to help out with that. And a harmonic convergence on him too to improve his ability to like deflect attacks. Ooh, he's a little low. If we can, we want to get our Croxagors to kind of circle beat the war boss. Send our Croxagors to mow down these remaining pockets. Nakai's a little beat up. He'll be okay though. The battle is fairly heavily in our favor, which is grand. Looks like our Croxagors may have gone up against some biggins over here. Oh no, you know what? They may have got caught in the forest and just taken some penalties. Alright, so we'll send our priest to help mow down what's left, and we're going to go ahead and retire Nakai from the field. We'll tell him to withdraw, so he will leave the battlefield and head off to safety. And we're just going to commit all of our Croxagors to chasing the enemy off the map. And that is game. Alright, so obviously we took a ton of damage. Nakai only walked away with like 200 health because he got a little surrounded. And you can't underestimate orc war bosses. You know, a lot of those generic heroes from game 1, which I need to propose some ideas about little like skill tree ways to make them more interesting. But a lot of those generic characters from game 1 are very boring in that they don't have a lot of like cool customizations or abilities. But they can be pretty dangerous if given the chance. Alright, so we have unlocked the second level of Quetzal. So we've got a melee attack bonus for a lot of our guys, and we have the ability to... Okay, so we have access to the Glyphs of Defiance. That's pretty neat. But we also can get Blessed Skink Skirmishers now, which is swell. Evasion, awesome, because that means we can get Chain Lightning or Comet next level. And then we want to move immediately towards Spectazuma as quick as we can, because we need to take advantage of the orcs being weak. And because we got that one building, I can now get Sacred Croxagors. Which, let's go ahead... Do I want to perform the Rite of Mastery? Not really. I think I'd rather upgrade. So let's do this. Let's get the Hunting Pack pen, because not only does that allow me to get Razor Dawns and Salamanders, but it grants me the ability to summon feral cold ones on the battlefield. So that's 3 extra units of cold ones every single fight, which is just amazing. Join war against Clan Scryer. I would love to, but not right now. Usually you don't want to join the AI in battles against a enemy faction unless there's a really good reason. The only reasons you ever want to help out the AI with a war is because you want to increase your diplomatic standing with them, they're offering you a bunch of money to do it, or you convince them to join you, you know, in exchange for some other plan. Alright, so we got the starting quest for the Golden Tributes. The mighty Croxagor Ancient, known as to the Lizardmen as Nakai the Wanderer, is encamped in the jungle when his skink attendants bring news of a disaster threatening the very beating heart of Lustria. That seemingly irresponsible, utterly insane vampire admiral, Luther Harkin, leader of the zombie pirates, has once again been pushing into the jungle interior with a large force of unliving freebooters, bolstered by a host of vicious Skaven mercenaries. If they are allowed to continue rampaging across the region, no temple city will be safe. or so the Wanderer's skink scouts advised. To Nakai, the solution to the situation is clear. His horde must be bolstered at once if it is to deal with such a dangerous threat decisively and conclusively. Have 3 units, we already have that. So we get part 2. Nakai the Wanderer knows that every second counts if the Lizardmen are to rally and prevent catastrophe at the gnarled hand of Luther Harkin, the fell Lamian? That is not correct. Screenshot. I will make a post about that later. That is not correct. Luther Harkin is a blood dragon, not a Lamian. That's, I mean, I guess you could argue that he might be from Lamia, which I guess potentially could be correct, but this seems to convey as if he is a Lamian vampire, which is of course a bloodline type, and that is not correct. Oh, my Lord Jimmy's just got rustled. With every passing moment, Harkin's ramshackle army marches ever closer to the Lizardmen's first city of Itza. The treasure Temple City must not fall under any circumstances, and certainly not to a thoroughly verminous host such as this. We must get into a position whereby we can discuss this pressing situation with the city's defenders. And then we've got the Ogham Shard, which is the Albion questline, which is super fun. So the all-knowing, seemingly ever-living Slann have revealed the location of several ancient structures in locations right across the world pond, which prevent the forces of chaos from spilling out into our dimension and marauding across the old and new worlds. One such shard may now be under direct threat from the very faction it was designed to repel. If a single one falls, the bonds which hold back chaos will be broken, and all hell will undoubtedly break loose. A situation as grave and as wide-reaching in its implications as this must be investigated fully. In any event, defend the shard no matter what happens, and at whatever the cost. Move to Albion. Okay, so we got this dude back. Awesome. Let's get a point in training, and we're gonna have him join back up with us here in a hot second. So let's actually use this skink unit to refresh our other skink units. And you're coming with us for a bit. Nakai leveled up, so let's grab 2 points in... man, his melee defense is so bad. Let's grab 2 points in Enforcer of Order to get our weapon strength really, really high. And then what we're going to do is we're going to recruit a skink chief with uncompromising, which is really, really good. So 15% chance he hurts somebody that's trying to hurt him. And we're going to send him to Albion. So he's basically going to begin the long journey there. Which, whenever you're journeying somewhere that's very, very far away, you always want to go across the ocean if you can. And the reason for that is characters cannot be like assassinated if they're crossing the ocean. All right, so let's get rid of the silver tier Kroxigor unit so that we have 4. And then we want 4 Sacred Kroxigors. And then let's drop a Skink unit. We'll get rid of this one that has the most wounds. And we're going to replace them. Let's pick up... I'm doing some mental calculations here. Let's actually drop 3 of them. Actually, let's drop... okay, I don't want to get... I only have so much money I can spend. Let's pick up 2 units of Chameleon Skinks. Then we want to pick up a Salamander Hunting Pack. I really like the Razor Dawns, but I don't think they synergize very well in a Kroxigor themed army because they are better designed to take out like heavy infantry, and that's what Kroxigor specialize at. So they're kind of redundant. Also, I think they're not very good. I have some ideas on how to fix them, but it will take a bit. Okay, we still have enough money to get rid of a unit and hire a new one. So let's drop another skink unit and pick up... I don't think I need any more chameleon skinks, so we could pick up another salamander unit. You know what I would really like? Let's get rid of both of these and pick up 2 units of red-crested skinks to provide poisonous support for our Kroxigors. I really, really like that. So let's do that. And our goal now is going to be to completely wipe out the orcs. Once the orcs are dead, we will turn our attention to the humans north. Actually, you know what? What we'll probably do is... Oh, man. The humans have some big armies. What we'll probably do is send a force, or we'll go do the Chakwa quest battle, I'm guessing, the Golden Tributes, because the Golden Tributes give Nakai perfect vigor. on him and in an AoE, which is just very, very good. Alright, final point training. And then what we're going to do is we want to lure out the defenders of Spectazuma, because Kroxigors are not great in sieges, because although they can force open all their own gates, monstrous infantry suffer the most trying to go through a gate. Oh, well, no. Cavalry suffers the most, followed by monstrous cav, followed by monstrous infantry. In, like, worst to not as worse, but still bad. But what we're going to do... Oh, dang it, you ran away. Okay, so normally the AI will hold its ground if it thinks it can win. And the reason you want to attack the army on the outside is because all the reinforcements will spill out to fight on the outside, so you can fight them without the walls. But that didn't work out, so... Okay, let's give the speed buff banner to Nakai. I don't need any siege equipment. So yeah, we're just gonna quick save, and we're gonna go bust the doors in. Oh yeah. Yeah, see this map, if there was a large army in here, this map would be pretty much a guaranteed loss for Nakai, in my opinion. Because there's only one gate. There's only one way into this citadel. So, yeah, this would not be a good time for... If I don't think we're going to have any issues, because there's not that many orcs. But if there were a lot of orcs, this would suck. So what we're going to do is we're going to deploy our chameleon skinks. Man, this map is rough. There's, like, nowhere to go. So we're going to put our chameleon skinks on one of these far flanks, and we're going to turn off their fire at will. And the reason we're doing that is because they're stealthed, so the AI is not going to see them. And then if I put the rest of my army on the left side of the map, the AI will think, okay, that's where, well, and most reasonable people would think, okay, that's where he's going to attack, so that's where I need to, like, it's going to put most of its army on this side of the wall, thinking that that's where the threat is. When in reality, of course, it's the chameleon skinks are actually one of the most stealth units, in my opinion, are one of the most dangerous units in a siege battle. So then we hit start. Sure enough, he didn't put any defenses on this side. So now what we can do, of course, is transition our army like this, so that we can kind of get out of tower shot. We'll eat some arrows on the way in, but that's not a big deal. And we're just going to send all of our Kroxigors, including Nakai, to just smash the gate down. We'll bring our salamanders over here. And the main reason for that is we want to try and get them... we want to wait until we're pretty engaged on the walls. But none of these units look particularly dangerous, so we're going to go ahead and commit our Saurus to climbing the walls. But we're going to keep our red-crested skinks on the ground. And the reason you want to get in contact with the walls as quickly as possible is it will allow you to summon units, like my Feral Cold Ones, inside the walls. Normally I can't do that. Well, you know, see if I... Oh wait, no, I can do that. I guess Skaven can't do that. Skaven can't do that until you touch the walls. Feral Cold Ones you can, but they're not going to be very helpful right now. I need to wait until there's actually something for them to do. So we do have the Saurus coming in. There's obviously tons of guys on the walls. Unfortunately, I do not have... Whoa. Okay, so the salamanders are already starting. As you can see, unfortunately, they don't arc their fire very well. So they're not the best for dealing with units on walls unless you fire from like a really far away angle. Sometimes if you fire from far enough away, they'll arc it a little better. Well, what you really can do is actually tell them to aim at units that are in the back. Alright, but we've got guys coming up on the walls. We'll put our skink priest over here so he's not getting shot by a tower. And what we'll do is we'll wait till our Saurus are like fairly on the wall, and then we'll go ham. Thankfully, the gate's already open though, so we can just swarm forward and start messing people up. And because all my Kroxigors are bunched up, I'm just going to go ahead and pop this ability, because it makes, you know, it makes my guys really, really buff. And then we're going to summon some Feral Cold Ones behind the Orcs. That way we can very, very easily provide support. And we're going to stop. We're going to make the Salamander stop that, because they're going to hit my own troops more than anything. Let's actually send them around to this flank so they can fire over the wall. And now that we've got a fight starting in earnest, we can throw down a Curse of the Midnight Wind right here, so we're hitting people both on the wall and below the wall. And we can send in our Feral Cold Ones here to help out. Charge! They have such good charge animations. Alright, so what we're going to do at this point is try and kind of start sneaking units kind of through the wall. Because if we can get them kind of past this blockade here, we'll be in a really good position. We can send this dude in. Pop our ward save. We can use Wind Blast on the greenskins that are inside the wall. Like this is a really good spot. We'll get some really solid damage on that. And then we're going to overcast Harmonic Convergence on Nakai to just make him as damage resistant as possible. That'll give him armor and a bunch of other goodies. Okay, now we're actually inside. So now we can tell the Croxlors to just start swarming people. And we've got the Red-Crested Skinks, in my opinion, are the best support in the game for Croxlors. Because they bring in that poison melee damage, which is just awesome. Okay, so that should provide with Nakai all the support he needs. We're going to get our Scar Veteran over here because he actually has legit anti-large damage. And then what we're going to do is we're pretty much going to commit a Sacred Croxlor unit and a Skink unit and maybe a regular Croxlor unit to going much deeper in the hold to capture it. Because if you can capture a hold, their leadership will plummet. Like a bad stock market. Okay, Salamanders are providing excellent support. Relatively, anyway. Alright, looks like the hold's starting to collapse. So let's actually commit some of these units to fighting. We can summon in Cold Ones where these guys are heading. That way we're able to catch them as they're fleeing and just absolutely rip them to shreds. The last thing you want to do is flee into units of Velociraptors. Not a good time for it. Not a good time. So that's a nice little sandwich we've got going. Chameleon Skinks here are eating a lot of missile fire. Not a big deal. I totally forgot about them, to be honest. But we're going to send them after these guys. Let's turn on their fire at will so that they have no issue just unleashing hell. And we're going to send all of our Croxlors deeper in the base. But it looks like at this point they've taken too many losses. Army losses kicks in. And that will be, that'll be it. And with that, the Savage Orcs are doomed. This was their last base, so the Savage Orcs, who I do consider probably one of the most major threats to any campaign that's Lustria based, because for whatever reason, the Blue Vipers just tend to be one of the more competent greenskin AIs. Like, they're very aggressive, and they tend to win against other AIs if given enough time. Hand off another gift to Quetzal. Oh, we got Destroyer. Nice. And then all we have to do is hit this guy. And we can just auto-resolve that. And that's it. The Blue Vipers have been obliterated. So that is a very powerful enemy wiped out. And we're ranked 10, so I can start this tree so we can get Legendary Warrior, which is fantastic. And then the best one by far is Cold-Blooded Reflexes, which gives Nakai Discourage and Terror. So now he's a terror causer, which is awesome, and he has the discourage effect on his attacks, which is even more awesome. So that puts us in an excellent position. And then this Skink Chief, all we have to do is get him into the water. And get... Okay, there you go. And now that he's in the water, all I have to do is tell him to go to Albion, which Albion is right here. This is Albion. So I'll just click on that. It's like one of the only islands that's smaller in... It's smaller in the Vortex campaign than it is in the Mortal Empires campaign, which is kind of funny. And then we're going to encamp stance. We don't need to recruit any new units. I could get the cohort of Sotek, but I don't like to. I tend to find they die far too easily and quickly for my liking. So what we're probably going to do with my army at this point... I mean, we're going to focus on getting the buildings we're missing. So let's get... I'd really like to get Temple Guard. Temple Guard also synergize super duper well with Croxlors. Just because they give you a unit that's much better than Saurus when it comes to kind of holding out against the things Croxlors are scared of. You know, things, you know, like halberd infantry especially. Alright, so there's Wolfheart, which... I mean, we can fight him to get his thing, but we don't really get any cool rewards for it until, or it doesn't really count for anything until the quest battle. Alright, so for this, yeah, let's ensure more Saurus are spawned, because we're going to be trying to get some soon. So, we just need money at this point. Well, what I really need is just to lay low and heal as best as I can.
I can't.
So there's Kalara. She does need to die. Especially because, so now we're going to run into the scary part of this campaign, which is going to be that we're going to be attacked from many different directions. So what I think I'm going to do is focus on these guys to the north of me. Right now, I just want to focus on healing, at least for the moment, and trying to build up. We're probably about to lose a couple bases, but, you know, that's okay. Life will go on. So now we're just going to kind of... I don't remember what the hotkey is to make that go faster, but we're just going to kind of hang low and wait for opportunities to strike out against the Hunts Marshal's expedition, who of course are the main antagonist of this campaign. And now it looks like he's starting to go on the offensive against my ally, or at least he's thinking about it. There is a lot of them. I see at least 3 20 stacks moseying about. Really need my wizard to level up so I can get chain lightning. Oh, there it goes. Awesome. Making daddy proud. Okay, so now we have a big boy spell. And Comet is an awesome spell and I really like it, but chain lightning is more guaranteed value in my opinion. So we're going to start with that and then we'll go from there. So the floating pyramid does not have a level 2 garrison and is defended by a pretty meh army. So we can hit it pretty easily. So that's what we're going to do. Because if we can, it's good to go all the way up here and try and take these guys out. And just wipe them out to a man. Because if we can take care of them here, then we're in a good spot. So let's go ahead and give a leadership banner to our Scarvet. Make him a little more durable. And we're going to fight this personally because I don't want to risk taking too many extra losses from auto-resolve. Because auto-resolves tend to be a little less forgiving. Like, they tend to, like, wipe out specific unit types, and I don't want to have to pay to get any replacement units, because my army's in a pretty good spot right now. I might change its composition slightly once it's, you know, once we have full enough development. You know, we'll probably be running, I'm probably going to do, like, 4 units of Temple Guard, 2 Red Crested Skank. It'll probably be very similar to this. I might replace the Salamander with a Dread Saurian once we have that. But, of course, that won't be for a bit. So, this Empire army is very small compared to mine. So, we're going to be able to just kind of slap the Crocscores into a command group and let them cut loose. And the big advantage to that is then you use the rest of your army, like Saurus and Skinks, to basically just attack any particularly resistant points. So, like, we'll use Spear Saurus to focus down any potential knights who may be interested in cycle charging. And then the Salamanders and the Chameleon Skinks will focus down any other big problem causers. So first we're going to put all of our Crocscores along with Nakai into a command group. And then we've got Saurus, Skinks, ranged units, and characters. Okay. Hit start. Tell the Crocscores to charge. We'll have the Chameleon Skinks focus the Outriders down. Send the Saurus barreling towards them. Have the Skinks come in and support, as well as the characters. And we just want the Chameleon Skinks to get up in the Outrider's face, because Outriders, of course, barely have any armor, so Skinks are or Chameleon Skinks especially, with their high rate of fire, are just ideal for mowing them down. We're going to go ahead and get rid of their, like, runaway from defenders, because there's nothing I'm really worried about. Ideally, they will run away before I impact the front line, but we'll see. And here we can go ahead and throw down a fat chain lightning just right in the middle of this army. And the Empire did not have time to brace. At least not the main Empire. We'll summon Feral Kobolds behind the army. Send in the Chameleon Skinks to support on this flank. Saurus will come support in the center. Spread out these guys wide, and they're going to go after all the ranged units. If we can, we want to get the Scarvet on the hero. Let's throw down a Curse of the Midnight Wind right in the middle of this army. That will make them all much less dangerous to me. Alright, okay, we want you on him. We can send in this guy to use his thing. That, like, just kind of nukes leadership. That'll get rid of a lot of these, like, heavy resistant units. Charge in here. Send the Chameleon Skinks around this flank. Get him on the Arc Lector. Alright, the only thing still standing are those Pistoliers. Pretty much everything else has been wiped out. Alright. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So that will wipe out the Hunts Marshal's expedition on this particular flank. There should be a hero guarding. So the way this campaign kind of works is that each of the 4 heroes that you need to kill to unlock the final battle is each one of them hangs out in kind of like a different sub-settlement. And I'll kind of show you what I mean. So for instance, Kalara hangs out. Well, so Kalara's right here right now, and I think that's because Kalara is traditionally from up here. So Kalara usually hangs out here. The Dwarf, I know, hangs out down here. I think the Witch Hunter hangs out here. And then I think the Bretonnian hangs out in the original base. I mean, here we see Wolfheart, but we're not interested in him because he's not one of the 4 hunters I need to take out. Alright, so now let's grab Adornments for higher casualty replenishment, and that'll allow us to get Sacred Warrior, which gives us Unbreakable. Not going to get that just yet. I'd rather have First Spawning, which makes my Crocsgores all have Frenzy, and makes them a lot faster. Because Unbreakable is good, but it can also be a curse if you're not careful with it. So let's get our melee attack a little higher, and then we can't move any further, so we're just going to hang out here. And I think the next thing I want to buy is, yeah, this, which will give us sweet, sweet Temple Guard. And we let's go ahead and perform the Rite of Allegiance. So this basically makes it so that the Lizardmen are just going apeshit crazy all over my territory. So any of these Hunts Marshal armies that are in my territory are going to essentially take a buttload of damage. You know, a buttload of attrition damage, which is ideal. Oh, Lustria. She's like the weakest of the Vampire Coast factions. Poor girl. Granted, she's the only one that doesn't have like a really defensible starting position. Okay, so we can see that Itza is now at war with the Hunts Marshals, which is actually really good for us. Because you start off at war with the Hunts Marshal, you can't like lure Itza into a war with them. Itza pretty much has to do it of their own accord, which has happened, which is awesome. And it's probably because Itza really likes us and doesn't like them. We will not commit to this plan, because I don't need it. Alright, and so now what we're going to do is make our way towards the high Sentinel. And we're just going to wipe our way across all this. So we'll encamp, and then we will get Temple Guard. Which will be awesome, because then I can get rid of Saurus and have much better Saurus. Now, unfortunately, there's not, like, a reliable skink group that's infantry that provides you with anti-large to deal with, like, halberd units and stuff like that. Like, I guess, or a heavy cav. I mean, red-crested skinks do a lot of work, but because you only have 20 slots in an army, they don't do as much work as you potentially need. It's almost too bad, in my opinion, that there isn't, like, a detachment system where you can have like 5 extra units that get added onto your army, but they can only be like super low tier units. Which is a very random thought. The only bad thing about Temple Guard is they take 2 turns to recruit. There's really no way to get that down any further. They're just considered a unit you have to wait extra time for. So we'll probably pick them up here in a little bit, but we're gonna go ahead and hit the High Sentinel, which does have a wall. So if we attack it with auto resolve, it would penalize the living bejesus out of us. but I'm going to go in there manually because they barely have enough defense to cover even a single gate, much less 3 of them. So I'll probably split my Kroxigors up into groups of 3 and send a pack at each door. That way we can just kind of smash our way in. So I'll send Nakai along with... we'll send Nakai with 1 of each to hit this gate. Then we'll go 2 Sacred, 1 Great Weapon to hit this gate. And then 1 Sacred and 2 Greats to hit this gate. And then our Saurus will hang out behind because they're probably going to have to attack the walls to get any defenders off them. Salamanders will keep in reserve. Chameleon Skinks we will commit on this far right flank. Actually, no, let's commit them on this far left flank. That way we can just actually... yeah, let's keep them over here. Because they should be able to get up those walls without too much issue. And then the red-crested skinks we will keep also in support. And that leaves us just our characters, who will go with Nakai. So we will just separate these guys into 3 general groups. So I can do this right at the beginning and then hit start. Hit each gate. Send the chameleons up the walls. Saurus will send straight up the chute. Red-crested skinks will support. We'll send salamanders to this gate. And characters to this gate. Alright, and as Nakai gets in gun range, we'll go ahead and pop this buff, because they're going to just shoot a buttload of bullets at him. But that's why we gave him a ton of physical resistance, so that he will take relatively little damage. Oh, that's... I should have gotten Comet, because then I could hit the walls, but oh well. We're going to send you that way. Though I'm not going to have you attack the gate, I'll just have you hang out. And then what we can do is go ahead and commit some Feral Cold Ones back here to take out that mortar. Mortars aren't particularly dangerous, but it's still good to get rid of them. We are going to go ahead and commit the Red-Crested Skinks to climbing and have the Saurus come up in support of them. Because we want to get those guns to stop firing as quickly as possible. Alright, all these gates should be open in a matter of seconds. Oh wait, are they fighting the Outriders? Oh, okay, there's nothing I can do about that. They should win that fight. Outriders are not that great. Well, I don't know, Outriders are actually okay in melee. As long as those mortars are whiffing, I don't really give a shit. Come on. I still find it funny that the lizardmen use ladders. You figure, like, the animal races, like beastmen, lizardmen, Skaven, like, you figure they would just show them climbing usually using, like, their natural abilities as, like, animalistic creatures, as opposed to the silliness that they actually do, which is, okay, let's I want y'all to capture the center of the city. Chameleons, get your butts over here. Okay, so all the enemy infantry is going to start swarming down the walls to try and contest us. I'll let my regular Kroxigors start dealing with them. Let's pop this. These guys are running right at me, and they're going to eat a wind blast to the face for it. And then these guys are just going to head for those mortars. Salamanders will focus down the Outriders. Don't break it? Oh yeah, you did. Okay. See ya. Those Outriders are about to have a bad time. Okay, they're being attacked from both angles, so they're pretty much dead. Nice. Send him in there, so he's providing a leadership debuff. Mortars offline. These guys are pretty much on death's row. These guys are broken, so I can just commit Skink Priest to chasing one, Nakai to chasing the other. Oop, nope, they rally. Oh, they broke because of terror. Okay. Get that Discourage effect in there. Croxagores, get in here. Yeah, y'all aren't getting anywhere. See ya. Alright, and that's pretty much it. This settlement is absolutely boned. They're not walking away from this. I can move Nakai closer to the wall because he does cause terror. So he will spook the guys up here. Let's go ahead and throw down a Harmonic Convergence. Let's bring the Salamanders around the rear here so they can help support. Okay, we own the city, so we've gotten rid of their leadership buff. Because there is a leadership buff if you do control the square and you're the defender. And with that, and then army losses, this city is taken care of. So that's another settlement for our glorious vassals. Yeah, one thing, this campaign definitely has a lot of bumps in it. I've been reading a lot on Reddit of people having various concerns with it and its difficulty. And it seems the main issue is that the economy for Nakai, like the amount of money you get for controlling settlements and the amount of favor the old one that you get is pretty bad, to be honest. Terrifying Mask of E. Well, we don't need that on Nakai. We can put that on the Skink Priest. So that'll make him cause terror, which is not terrible. Let's actually put that on you. Alright, so who's this? Impossible. Some random dude with an army that's not that great. Thankfully, it looks like we've caught the Huntsmarshal armies while they're still kind of fledglings, so to speak. Oh, I can still move. Okay, so we're going to move just kind of right up to the edge here. I don't want to leave my area because I want the healing. But, we do, and we'll recruit all the Temple Guard after we wipe out Pahawks, and we kind of like gut this little area because we don't want to, we want to try to avoid getting into too big of a scuffle. Okay, so, alright, so they're all bunching up in the Monument of the Moon. Alright, this actually feels like a really good stop point. This is going to, the Huntsmarshal is going to regret what he just did. Because the whole thing he just did was that he moved all of his armies in front of me. You know, probably in a hope of holding me off from their city, which does have walls, but he's outside, and I have Lightning Strike. So I'm going to be able to just isolate and kill him no problem. Especially now that I have Comet. So that when I do attack a city, I can drop comets on the walls. But it has been an hour, so that's going to be it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for joining me. I will see you tomorrow for the next one, and I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for watching, guys. Oh, look at that. We've hit level 3. Oh, we got the Protection of Quetzal. I can't wait to show that to you guys. So we've got the army ability, which makes us invincible. Makes a unit invulnerable to all damage and unbreakable for 12 seconds. It's pretty sexy. In any event, see you guys next time.